So you can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen to this, this will still be helpful to you in some way. So if you would like to listen to this in a still position, you can just feel free to take all the time you need to arrive there. And just let yourself fidget and adjust yourself in any ways that you need to. Maybe doing some stretching to begin, some cat-cows with the spine, some neck rolls, side body bends, torso twists. But just doing your best, if you do want to find this movement, to let your body move you. So not thinking about the movement or worrying about what it looks like or even thinking about what it feels like, but just seeing if you can let your body move you in the ways that feel good. Just following those yummy sensations you might get. And if what feels best to you right now or at any point is stillness, then honoring that stillness. And so there is zero rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But if you are feeling ready and would like to come to a still position and you haven't already, you may do so. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to close the eyes, you can allow them to gently close at any time. And just mark your arrival into your practice today, into your body today, with a full, intentional cleansing breath. A long, slow inhale in through the nose, letting yourself fill up fully to every corner and edge of you. As you just hold that breath for a moment at the top to just really feel that fullness, and then slowly let that go. Exhaling bit by bit. Gently pulling the navel to the spine at the bottom of your exhale to just push that last bit of stagnant air out of you as you again pause to just feel that emptiness and allow your next breath to come to you as it's needed. And so you can breathe just like that for a few more rounds for as long as it feels good. Just exaggerating the 4 parts of your breath, not worrying about how long these inhales, exhales, and pauses are, but just letting it be maybe a moment or two longer than what you might normally do. So just a more intentional, a slower inhale, and a more intentional pause with that inhale inside of you, and just seeing what it feels like to be full of all this air. And then an intentional, slow exhale. Again, followed by a pause to really just feel what it's like to be empty. And letting your next breath come naturally as it will. And again, you can continue to breathe like this for as long as it feels good. And at any point, if you'd like to release this guidance over your breath altogether, you may do so if you haven't already. And just allow yourself to come into that role of the observer, the role of the witness of your body and its functions. And just reminding yourself that, yes, the breath can be controlled or guided through your intention, but it is also something that can be a completely automatic process. The breath can be either voluntary or automatic. So just playing with that control and release of control as we begin today. And just looking at your body and its functions, your breath, your heartbeat, all the things going on within you, just as you would any other force of nature, because that is what you are. That is what all our bodies are, forces of nature. And if you imagine what it feels like, maybe the energy you have when you're watching a crazy storm outside, or laying on the beach and watching the waves roll in, or staring at a mountain or a beautiful landscape. Just taking on that same energy with how you are just witnessing yourself right now. When you are watching the waves rolling up and out, you're not trying to control them. You're not trying to change anything about what's happening. But you are just simply watching, observing, and witnessing. And even if it's just for a split second, seeing if you can just witness the fact that your body is breathing without having any direct influence over the rhythm or depth of your breath. And know that sometimes this feels like a nearly impossible task, so it is perfectly okay if that feels difficult to you today or right now. Or if the breath doesn't feel comforting for you to focus on right now, that is perfectly okay. And you can let your attention be drawn wherever it feels drawn to. Maybe to the face. And just noticing all the muscles in the face. Remembering all the different tiny muscles that exist in your face, in your eyebrows, your eyelids, the nostrils, the lips, even in the tongue, in the chin and the ears. All these tiny muscles that are always here. And just seeing if there's any areas that are maybe fidgeting or tightening and resisting. And as your body exhales, seeing if you can let these areas go a little bit more. And just remind yourself of the safety of your own anatomy, and that there's no need for you to hold anything in any specific or rigid position, but it is safe for you to let go. Let the muscles of your face release back into the support of your skin, almost ungripping from the bones. Feeling that same sense of letting go across your whole hairline, across your whole scalp. Just allow that sense of acceptance, release, softness to naturally cascade down the neck, all sides of the neck. Letting the shoulders become heavier, the arms and hands to be soft, along with the chest and the rib cage, the stomach, all the muscles across the abdomen and the back. Releasing some more tension in the glutes, in the pelvic floor, in the hips, the upper legs, the lower legs, the feet and the toes. And just allowing yourself to release, to exhale into just this first wave of general softening, of general relaxation. Just reminding yourself that wherever you are in this world, you are safe in this body. Gravity is holding you to this earth. You will not get up and float away, but you are safe right where you are. And it is safe for you to release yourself into the surface that supports you. Just letting yourself be heavy, letting yourself be big, releasing any need you might feel to make yourself smaller. But just allowing yourself to take up as much space as you truly do. And as you remind yourself of this ultimate safety that all of us have at the end of life, we are all safe. Our souls will go back to wherever they came from. Our body will go back to the earth. And just this safety of the earth and gravity, and just the reality of your body and how it's keeping you alive. These base safeties that we all have. As you allow yourself to feel that sense of safety, there might also be some thoughts or some reminders or maybe even physical responses about some other areas of your life or some other things that don't make you feel safe, that maybe make you feel unsafe or threatened or just unsure of where you are and how you're being treated. And if those things are coming up for you, if there's anything that comes up that makes you feel unsafe or reminders of a lack of safety, then doing your best to allow those to come up and not pushing them back down. But seeing those thoughts, those reminders as seeds that are being planted and allowing those seeds to take root within you so that they can grow and eventually maybe spark action. Whenever we find ourselves in situations that maybe we don't want to be in long term, there's always a period between when we notice something needs to change and when we actually make the change. And so just having some patience and kindness to yourself, with yourself, as you feel these difficult things if they're coming up for you. Reminding yourself that you are capable of feeling hard things. You are a strong person in this body, in this life, and you are capable of experiencing the full range of what it is to be human. And being human means that we will go through difficult times, maybe scary times, maybe painful times, times of suffering. And being a human also means we will go through joyful times, times of love and laughter, of song and dance. And when we are feeling in these really low places, we might, or usually what I find is that we forget that we've ever felt different. We feel like this is what life's always been, it's what it always will be, and we almost convince ourselves that we are just sad people, or we are people who are maybe depressed constantly or just not feeling good. But if you remember any times in your life that have been great, maybe on a vacation or any happy times you've gone through, the same thing is true. When we are feeling good, it feels like we've always felt this way and we always will feel this way. And so the one thing that is true, neither of those statements are true, but the one thing that is true is that things will change. How we feel will change, even when it feels like it won't, or like we're stuck. The only thing we can all count on in this life is change. And that includes how you feel about yourself, about life. That includes your emotions, physical sensations. psychologically, neurologically, everything is constantly changing. So just using that fact as a comfort to you if you're in a place that you would like to change, because it will. Eventually it will. And also using that fact as a comfort to you to fully experience and soak in all the good things you can while they're here. And as you let yourself just be in this heavy place where you're letting yourself be safe and supported, you can now start to bring awareness to the part of you that's facing the sky above you. So if you're sitting upright, then the crown of your head. And just feel like it's almost being magnetically drawn upward, a sense of lightness in the head. Seeing if you can feel heavy and light simultaneously, even if it's just for a split second. And reminding yourself this is not a thinking or doing process. This is one of listening and feeling, observing. And just allowing your shoulders, allowing your collarbones to be broad. As you just let your heart come slightly forward in the body, feeling the lungs open up. And just allowing new and fresh air to enter into you, into the lungs, maybe into the belly. Just reminding yourself of this constant new energy that you're always bringing into you, just in each inhale. And as you are just feeling yourself being big, long, tall, wide, light and heavy, just feeling yourself exactly as you already are. Maybe you start to notice, or maybe you've been noticing an active mind, or maybe things that are being spoken to you in your mind. Maybe reminders, or trying to multitask and get some things on your to-do list as you do this practice. Or maybe some things about the past that are coming up. And just reminding yourself that those things are also a part of this process. But just the moment that you notice that the mind is wandering or the mind is thinking about something else, it brings you back to being the observer, to doing this practice. And just reminding yourself how the mind will always wander. And some days we might show up for this practice and be able to fully release ourselves into it and feel a sense of peace and bliss. And some days we'll show up and that feels almost unattainable. Maybe we feel like we can't fully drop into that space that we prefer to be in. And no matter where you are in your practice today, right now, just taking a moment to remind yourself that where you are is exactly where you need to be, or else you wouldn't be here. And that how your mind is doing right now, how your practice is feeling right now, is not a reflection on anything about you as a person or your character. Again, it just means that you're human. And you will be different each and every time you show up to a practice like this one. And that is one of the many beautiful things about this practice. And I believe the ideal approach to any healing practice, especially one like meditation or yoga, is an approach that is slow and curious. Feeling a sense of curiosity with what things are coming up for you. Maybe what emotions are bubbling up. Any thoughts that are bubbling up. And sometimes I like to think of it as just taking inventory. Noticing the feelings, the sensations, the thoughts as they come. And noticing any tendency to try to attach more strongly to one than the other. Making note of things you might need to return to in the form of writing or talking. And if there are emotions bubbling up throughout your days, especially throughout any practice like this, allowing yourself to let those emotions go. Not shoving down the tears or any tougher feelings that you might have, but just allowing them to arise and to release. Because shoving hard things down within us does not make them go away. It just embeds them in us a little bit deeper. And they will control us a little more insidiously, just in our initial reactions to things. So whenever you get the opportunity to allow things to come up and out, allowing yourself to do so, even when it feels like you might drown if you were to just open the floodgates. But they will have to open at some point. So just allowing things to flow naturally as they want to come out. Just trusting the emotional intelligence of your own body. And that your body knows what you need. And a really great comfort or quote for if you're feeling like you're in a storm right now is the simple message that every storm runs out of rain. Some storms may last for days, weeks, months, maybe just a few hours or minutes. But they will always run out of rain. Again, nothing will last forever. Every single thing changes. Just allowing yourself to have a seat in the storm if that's where you're at, and feeling the rain on you, seeing how the clouds are moving and they will pass over you. And if you're feeling like you're in a really great place in life right now, then feeling the sun on the skin, fully soaking it all in, and just allowing yourself to be happy and to be in those great states, because they won't last forever either. Just giving yourself that permission, that grace to feel whatever is here for you to feel right now. Because sometimes the hardest layer of our suffering is all of those thoughts that tell us we should be feeling different. If we're in a really bad place, those thoughts that might say, well, I should be grateful for XYZ, or I should be feeling more motivated, I should be feeling whatever, insert any other thing. And it's like that record scratch of you're feeling this one thing, but you're telling yourself you should be feeling something different. And that in itself can cause so much hurt in us. And so whenever you catch those thoughts coming up, and just taking a moment to remind yourself that what you are feeling is what you should be feeling, even when those feelings are not pleasant. And the only way out is through. And noticing any tendencies that you might tell yourself when you're feeling really good. Maybe that you should be working harder, or any of those shoulds that come up that tell you you're not good enough, even when you are feeling pretty good. And just allowing yourself to be good, allowing yourself to be in love or in joy or just happy. And just letting yourself experience the full range of the human experience. Remembering that if you experience really difficult things, that does not negate your ability to feel really good things. But what we feel is the contrast between the two. And so not downplaying any of your pain or the suffering you've gone through because you think other people have had it worse, or comparing your pain to anyone else's. Because the worst thing that you have experienced is, it feels the same to you as the worst thing I have experienced. It is the worst thing you know. It is that end of the spectrum for your feelings so far in life. And the same thing with the best. And so just respecting yourself and honoring your own experiences. Your life is valid. What you feel is valid. And again, that extra layer of trying to feel different or feeling like we should be feeling any other way than what we're feeling right now. If we can ease that or ease those thoughts a little bit more, the relief is great. So I'm going to read a small section from Clarity and Connection written by Young Pueblo. But just continue to feel whatever you're feeling. Continue to soften your body as much as you can. And just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to just soak in a little deeper. And not worrying about the rest. Expectations cause great misery for the individual. We are constantly creating narratives of how we want things to be and how we want others around us to act. These narratives invariably lead to disappointment because the stories we crave are often dashed and broken by unrealistic expectations, circumstances beyond our control, and the randomness of the external world. We forget that what unites all human beings is our ignorance and room for improvement. We each carry conditioning that clouds our perspective. Our time on earth is an opportunity to overcome mental limitations, such as unforgiving expectations and a desire to control everything. Limitations that impede us from complete freedom and happiness. As we do the work of examining our inner world, it is unfair for others to expect us to be perfect, and for us to expect others to be perfect, especially when perfect often means having others fulfill our every desire. In a world of imperfect people, patience and forgiveness become essential. There may be times when you feel like a lot of what you've understood no longer makes sense. This might make you feel as though you have regressed, but it is actually a sign that you are opening new space for deeper wisdom and greater perception. When your previous understandings disintegrate, they are not always immediately replaced by better or deeper understandings. When you take your growth seriously, you will often find yourself in this in-between state. It is okay to live without clear answers. Growth is not about forcing understanding. It is about allowing it to grow organically. So you can just take the next few moments to just let all the words you've heard today settle. And just trusting that anything you've heard that really resonated or struck a chord with you is just when you hear on the outside what a part of you already knows to be true on the inside. So just allowing those truths to be enhanced within you so you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own instincts, to trust yourself a little bit deeper, knowing that you already know what you need to do. And we can have great ideas be sparked by things around us or outside of us, but ultimately you are your own best teacher, and there is nobody out there that can teach you more about you as a person, your wants, needs, desires, goals, your purpose, than you can. You are the only one who can teach yourself these things about you. And so just giving yourself that permission to spend more time with yourself, maybe, to trust yourself a little bit deeper, or just build that relationship with yourself. Start to build that trust. Your body and your instincts are so intelligent. And simply by being aware of them can grow those instincts, can allow them to naturally expand or grow deeper. And so you can just remind your body to once again soften any areas that might have tensed back up. And just feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat. And just letting this be all the proof you need of the worthiness of your life. The fact that there is life being pumped into you every moment of every day means that you are worthy of this life. And so if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. And just feel the pulse of your palms and fingers into each other. You can let your thumbs press toward your heart as you let your heart lift back toward your thumbs. And just feel all of this power that is generated through you. Just taking a final deep, full breath into the body, filling up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of, as you let your head gently bow. Just taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. Bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights, and may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.